You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, it's kind of a weird video because I'm going to combine two different teams into one video very quickly. I just made a video about the Giants and Jaxson Dart and the fact that fans were very, very much wanting to see Jaxson Dart start as their quarterback. And I said, well, I identified the Saints game that's upcoming as a potential destination start. And instead, they said, bleep it, we're starting against the Chargers. As badly as I think it's a good idea to put him out there and get him going, I don't know that I would have done this against Jim Harbaugh. That defense, that Chargers defense is nasty. It's nasty. I would have probably opted to have waited. I believe the game after that, I just had it up. Literally, let me just come over here. I had typed in the Giants bye week. Let me just type this in. There we go. This should bring it up. Yeah, see the very next game. And they may have done this. I mean, this is a home game. And, of course, the fans, this Saints game's a road game. So maybe they did a sort of a balancing of the two. Well, we'd rather have him start at home where the fans are behind him, yada, yada, yada. It does feel like sort of a franchise juicing kind of decision. Plus, Brian Daboll can be like, oh, look, he's performed pretty decent. Better keep me around and save my job. Yeah, that's a thing. All right. So, Brian Daboll, you're about to earn your money all over again. You bleeped up with Daniel Jones. This is your redemption if he can play. But if he can't, you're effed. Joe Shane ought to be effed too. Massive effed. He ought to be effed anyway, probably, to be honest with you. Brian Daboll, if he turns out that he can coach fine, I'd find a different general manager. So anyway, guys, he was my number one quarterback coming out in the draft. So, very interesting. I kind of wondered about this when Carson Wentz was grabbed off the street. And if JJ McCarthy got injured, struggled, all the above, look out for Carson Wentz and look out for Kevin O'Connell. And the idea, we just watched Kevin O'Connell excel with a formerly high-picked quarterback that struggled and had kind of gotten his feet under him. Sam Darnold, they tried to re-sign Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold just showed his ass this past weekend for the Seattle Seahawks. So, Kevin O'Connell coming out today. Hold on now. Hold on. I'm bringing JJ McCarthy back too soon. We're going to wait till he's absolutely super duper healthy. Like super duper healthy. Because Carson Wentz was just a bunch of solid this past weekend. And this is a very good Viking squad. And if you get a bunch of solid, you're liable to win 12, 13, 14 games with a bunch of solid. Probably 12 games. But still, you get my point. And the difference between Darnold and Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz had a whole lot of success early on and then sort of faded. I talked about the fact that he was actually pretty good with the Colts. And, Colts got rid of him. 27 touchdowns, 7 picks. The Colts just went through hell finding a quarterback for how many years since Carson Wentz? The last 4? He won 9 games for the Colts, by the way. This is going to get interesting. Vikings quarterback JJ McCarthy has shed the walking boot as he tries to expedite his return from a sprained ankle suffered in Week 2 loss to the Falcons. Coach Kevin O'Connell, however, isn't inclined to rush McCarthy back to the lineup. Is this a soft benching? Is that what we got going on here? A soft benching? Good old soft benching, they call it? O'Connell made it clear Monday that McCarthy will play not only when he's physically ready, but when he's entirely ready. Well, first and foremost, he's got to get healthy, O'Connell told reporters via Kevin Seifert of ESPN.com. And then I don't think it's one of those things where it's, hey, he's healthy the night before a game, we're going to throw him out there and say, hey, go figure it out type of thing. The goal is to ensure that McCarthy has his full mobility along with his ability to practice completely. O'Connell pointed to the fact that McCarthy missed a day of work prior to Week 2. While more than justifiable, his first child was born, it impacted his preparation. Quote, I think we saw as phenomenal as he was getting prepared for the Atlanta game, he did miss practice that week. And you're in the phase of building up the 10,000 reps, 10,000 hours of what it takes to play the position at a very high level, which we know JJ is going to do. You can't cut corners on that. While O'Connell has denied that the injury amounts to, quote, a soft benching of the second-year quarterback, the coach said there is, quote, value in McCarthy watching veteran Carson Wentz. Oh, man, this is going to get so interesting. Quote, sometimes it's reactionary ability to still consistently play with the rhythm and poise and decision-making and all that becomes much easier when you're taking the right footwork and your balance throughout the drop and reading with your feet, O'Connell said via Seifert. That can be an incredible weapon for a quarterback, whether they play 20 years or they played 20 games. In other words, when things start to go sideways, can the quarterback stay true to his fundamentals? Well, we're losing sight of something here. Can O'Connell reboot Carson Wentz? What happens if that happens for the second straight year with a veteran quarterback that was kind of wasting away? What do you do then? You know? I think what we'll see, if anything, the first time Carson Wentz goes out there and throws 3 interceptions, you may see JJ McCarthy. But that will also fly in the face of what he's saying. Well, we want him to get a full week's practice in. So if he throws JJ back in when Carson's struggling, I think even if Carson has an epic meltdown, you got to let him play the rest of the game and then start JJ the following week. By the way, I like JJ McCarthy a ton. I do. But I think there's a world where Carson reboots his career with somebody. This guy was so talented. Gun, mobile, big. You know, he was just one of them dudes. I mean, he's got a cannon. This will be interesting. This is the Carson Wentz, JJ McCarthy Vikings thing is going to be one of the most interesting stories going forward. But O'Connell thinks clubs give up on young quarterbacks too soon. So I could see a world where, Wentz maybe finishes the year, plays well, and then they let him walk, and JJ's back to being the starter. We'll have to see. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.